Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay. What was your take about Nick being removed from YouTube?
Yeah. So what I said was what I said. I stand by what I said. I looked at it as the same way that I would look at any kind of situation that is muddy, that is murky, where the facts are unclear. And, and I know that there's been a lot about me saying that he's controversial. I don't mean that as a form of judgment. I don't mean that as a form of judgment at all. I think it's, like I was listening in a little bit earlier. I know Nate said that that's his brand. That is his brand. Um, and that's fine. People love him for it. I am not like that. I could never be like that. It's just, and not to say that I could never be like that. I'm just saying that that's not my personality type. Not saying that as any form of judgment at all.
You would suck at it. If you
I would,
tried doing it, you would suck at it. You would be
yeah,
terrible.
I would absolutely suck at it.
Yeah.
I can't be anything other than myself.
Right.
And so, and that was the way that I approached what I said, both in tweets. I mean, honestly, when I wrote that tweet, it was, I'm on a very different time zone, which is one of the things that I said. I woke up to, number one, Nick being canceled off of YouTube. Number two, Andrew apparently saying on live stream, like already calling people out for not having made statements already. That was what, I was hearing, seeing and whatnot. And then being like, this guy knows what time zone I'm on. This guy knows that it's like overnight for me. So like, I don't understand what's happening there, but okay, I'll take a look at this situation and seeing, okay, I know that he's had 2 strikes before. I don't know if those are legitimate. I don't know because I don't know what the strikes were for. So, I haven't seen any of the footage for anything. And it's because, quite honestly, I'm focused on my channel. I'm focused on my stuff most of the time, and it's not to say that I don't care about anyone else, but I'm just, generally speaking, not focused in on other channels as much as I am on my own. And I think that every creator is kind of like that, right? Everybody has to cultivate their own channel. Now, my response initially was basically to say, I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm for freedom of speech. I don't like people getting canceled. And I know that people have seized upon me saying, adding in there, even controversial people. What I meant to say, and what I did say, is that people, even if they're controversial, shouldn't be canceled. Right. And I said that on stream with Rick and Kurt also. I wholeheartedly believe that. I've never said anything to suggest otherwise. I think that some people are trying to read into this as if to say, and I'm wondering if maybe it's because I generally take a very moderate approach to a lot of things. So it's almost like where you have, different parenting styles. You have someone who's always, one parent who's always very loud, always, kind of like tends to yell a little bit faster. So kids will learn like, they always yell. But then you have another parent who's always very soft spoken and then like changes their decibel a little bit, and people read into that, or kids might read into that and be like, oh, they're very serious. I'm wondering if maybe that has something to do with it. I have no idea. I can't speculate into people's minds on this. But I never intended for anything to look like a lack of support. That's why even when I didn't know anything, I wasn't sure what had happened, I added a link to his locals so that people could go and support him there.
Right.
That was exactly, what I meant to do was to show some form of support, even though I really didn't know what it was for. And, I mean, we still don't know, right? We still don't know what that last strike was for, because apparently it's still up. YouTube seems to think that it's legitimate even after all of this. I can't say whether I agree with that or not, because I don't know what it was for.
Right. I mean, apparently what it was for, in case, I mean, just, this is what he was reading, after do you know what happened, the whole thing with Keffals and everything that happened there?
I've heard some bits and pieces here and there. And let me say something about that. I know that there are people that said, you know, it took me 5 minutes of research to take a stand.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I have been in a situation where people took 5 minutes to take a certain conclusion, and and that is absolutely their right. But where I saw things very differently, and I had hoped that people would wait for a little bit more information, wait to investigate a little bit more, right? Like you know, we've talked a lot on our channels about these. I mean, I talk a lot about DV cases. I've been primarily focusing on DV cases on my channel, where I tell people I don't believe in listen and believe. I believe in listen and investigate,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I truly believe that in all matters. Like that's not just for DV cases. I see that as a bit more of a philosophy, which is why sometimes I think I take a little bit longer to come to a particular conclusion, sometimes longer than people would like. This is just in other scenarios too, and that's fair. But I can't change the way that I approach things. I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, folks that are saying that, you know, it took me, you know, just 5 minutes of research. You didn't do it because you didn't care. That is not true. I know that you can go onto the internet. It's a very big place. You can go onto the internet, find a short clip, and you can find a short clip that supports a certain position, and then say, okay, I'm done looking. But that particular clip could be taken out of context. It could be edited. It could be. There are a lot of things that can happen with that kind of stuff. I have seen a little bit about this whole thing with Keffals and Nate saying something about putting maps on a wall. I've seen clips that look like, you know, he's saying, you know, put somebody, essentially what would look like to an objective third party, you know, putting someone on a firing squad. You know, but I've also heard other people outside of that context saying, no, there's more to it. That's taken out of context, saying, you know, he's making a play on words about maps. I don't know. I haven't watched that, so I haven't come to any conclusion on that. But I'm just using that as an example of how things can be taken out of context if you look too quickly.
Right.